On a rainy evening in summer 1816 in Geneva, a wife of one of the most famous Romantic English poets spontaneously created a story that later was called the world's first science fiction novel. It was about the unhealthy obsession with an idea of transcendence and perfection, which has led to much pain and suffering. Can you guess the story? It's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. In the novel, a scientist, Victor Frankenstein, constructed and animated a creature that turned out to contradict all the scientist's ideology of perfection. He rejected his own imperfect creation, thus causing a long chain of consequent sufferings. I've read this book several times, fascinated by its gothic atmosphere, horror chills, and also humanistic ideas. But not long time ago, I realized how perfectly well it describes the danger of being a perfectionist. Hey my friends, if you're new here, I'm Anastasia, and this channel is about everything that is mindful, minimalist, and creative, and imperfect. Because, let's be real, is there anything truly perfect in the world? Maybe a flower, maybe a hummingbird, maybe mountain peaks, maybe a cupcake, but definitely not humans. And maybe this is why many humans are so hurt by the imperfect, and thus they strive to be perfectionists in everything that they do. But are those efforts and results really worth it? Scientific research shows that many perfectionists suffer from anxiety, resentment, and frustration. I personally have never met a perfectionist that could maintain the feeling of happiness long enough. They can be happy mostly from the results achieved, but unfortunately, many of their desired results are highly unachievable. Focus on hustling, materialism, competition, and consumerism feed perfectionism. But recently it occurred to me that our beloved minimalism can become a horrible trigger for perfectionism, and this is how it happens. As minimalists, we can be obsessed with the idea of owning fewer but perfectly selected items, and this can cause severe indecisiveness when we simply cannot choose this or that thing because we are afraid that it won't be perfect enough for our minimalist journey. As minimalists, we can be paralyzed with the fear of making a mistake, purchasing something useless, not fitting, or simply not in tune with the minimalist aesthetics promoted by perfectly looking and perfectly living minimalist influencers who have hacked the frugality principle to perfection. As minimalists, we can overspend money on certain items that reduce visual clutter, and thus we can become obsessed with identical jars, with bamboo lids, with white ceramic pot plants, and everything that is made of wood. Minimalist aesthetics can be really problematic. Perfectionism almost always robs inner joy and happiness from simply being who you are and doing what you do. And that's why I truly believe that instead of constantly tweaking our identity labels to perfection, such as I'm a woman, I'm a minimalist, I'm an artist, I'm bilingual, or any other labels that you might have personally, we should focus on being intentionally imperfect, because this is where real freedom lies. For example, if I was a perfectionist, I would never be able to try to make art because it takes a lot of time and errors to find your own style. I would never be able to accept other people's challenging characteristics and emotions. I would never be able to forgive. I would never be able to find beauty in things that are generally considered ugly and dark. I would never be able to accept myself, both mentally and physically. I would never be able to experience deep spirituality because one can do that only by going deep inside instead of focusing on the outward perfection. I wouldn't have time to try many things such as jobs and hobbies because I would never be satisfied with my results achieved because I would want to be a pro in everything. And finally, I would never be able to start this YouTube channel because I don't look perfect, I don't speak perfect, my camera is not perfect, and so on and so forth. Yes, many people might say that through perfectionism comes excellence, and this is how the most amazing insights are born. But I know for sure that I don't want to be Victor Frankenstein, whose perfectionist ideas have led to so much pain and ugliness. And I know that I would love to be Mary Shelley, who could see beauty and meaningfulness in the most unimaginable human experiences and who could tell a compelling story about them. And what about you, my friends? Do you find perfectionism problematic? Do you see a connection between perfectionism and minimalism? What do you do to embrace your imperfections? Or maybe you are a happy perfectionist? Let's discuss in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. As always, be safe and keep your heart open. And I hope to see you soon. Пока-пока.